Understanding human behavior and emotions has always been a fascinating pursuit, particularly when it comes to building meaningful relationships. This guide explores a straightforward psychological technique designed to foster connection, trust, and deeper understanding. It's not about manipulation or trickery, but about tapping into the dynamics of effective communication and empathy. By appreciating the nuances of how women process thoughts and emotions, you can build stronger bonds and create more authentic relationships. Let's dive into the simple yet impactful approach that can open the door to genuine understanding and mutual respect. Why patience is key. The importance of patience in building rapport. Since that night, I've continued to approach women this way without trying to appear cool or forcing anything to happen. I just say what's on my mind. I strongly believe that anything else is just a crutch or a shield to hide behind. Now let me share a story with you. Years ago, I read a fascinating study on the psychology of laughter. It explored how each person has a unique laugh, how it changes over time and its deeper implications. To make it brief, the study explained two types of laughter: loud laughter and quiet laughter, going back hundreds of thousands of years in tribal societies. The strongest men, like the leaders, would laugh loudly with confidence and power. They had no issue laughing intensely as they were unafraid to stand out. On the other hand, weaker individuals would laugh more quietly to avoid drawing attention to themselves. The theory behind this is long, but the main point is that strong men laugh loudly, while weaker men laugh quietly. In modern times, most people laugh more softly due to societal expectations, where loud laughter is often seen as impolite. But that's not what intrigued me the most. What stood out to me was that your laugh isn't something you're born with. It's something that develops over time, just like your body language or accent. It's subconscious, and if you want to change it, you can start laughing more powerfully today, and with time, it will become natural now. I know this advice might sound strange, but trust me, if you stay calm, stay powerful. Mastering non-reactivity in interactions. Consciously work on changing your laugh to make it more powerful. Like a Viking leader, you won't believe the impact it can have on your social life. Especially with women, laughter is one of the most important factors in human connection, and it plays a huge role in attraction as a man. When you hear a woman's sweet and charming laugh, you'll naturally feel drawn to her likewise. If a woman hears a strong, confident laugh from a man, she will instinctively feel ed to him, sometimes even sexually. This is simple, and it's something you can start doing today. But I also know that many of you won't try this, because it might seem odd. However, as a bit of a nerd, I started practicing it right away. After reading about it, I recall meeting with friends, and when I laughed, I did so loudly and in a different way than usual. When they asked why I was laughing like that, I told them about the study I had read, explaining how strong men laugh powerfully. One of my friends, though, looked me straight in the eyes and said, "No, you're wrong. If you want to be seen as strong, you shouldn't laugh too much. You should be serious most of the time, so people respect you." When I heard that, I felt angry. Not just because he dismissed the research I had spent hours studying, but because of the way society has shaped us in movies and shows. The gang leader or tough characters are portrayed as serious and never laughing, which influences people to believe that they should act that way too. But let's think about it, would you? The power of silence. Why silence often speaks louder than words. Actually want to be around someone who's always serious? The answer is usually no. People like that often have no friends, and no one wants to talk to them. This applies to relationships with women and everyone else. That excessive seriousness is like a virus that infects your social life now. Now let's focus on women. You have to be spontaneous with them. Don't overthink or worry. Be natural and say whatever comes to mind. The most important quality you can have is being spontaneous and not taking things too seriously. This is what attracts women and leads to a happier life. If you think about any time you've caught the attention of a girl or group of girls, you'll probably realize it happened because you acted naturally and didn't try to look cool. Going back to the main point of this video, every time you catch yourself trying too hard to seem cool or confident, remember what I've said. Ignore the overthinking women. Like men who are comfortable with themselves, who don't take life too seriously, and who enjoy the present moment. Women are always reading your behavior and assessing how they should feel about you if you're not being honest and genuine about your intentions. They can sense it. It shows on your face, in your body language, and in your subtle reactions. To create an interesting, attractive conversation with a woman, you need to make her feel comfortable and open up to you. This is the essence of the authentic approach. Since I began this series on attracting women, one of the most frequently asked questions is, what do I say when I approach a girl? I've given examples of openers, and while many people like those lines, the real problem is that they feel nervous. They think they need to hide that nervousness from women, believing they have to say a lot to compensate for their feelings of inadequacy. But if you keep relying on that, you'll face the same problem years down the road. You'll still feel uncomfortable speaking with women. How to listen the right way. Active listening techniques explained. Tried hundreds of pickup lines, but the one I currently use and find the most effective is simply to walk up to a girl and say, "Hey, you're cute. I wanted to get to know you." That's the authentic approach. I never hide my intentions or pretend I'm not attracted to her. In fact, I want her to know I'm attracted to her. Why should I be ashamed of that? Why hide it or put up any obstacles to getting what I want? Now let me pause here for a second. If you've been following this series, you'll have noticed that I always tell you not to offer free validation to girls, don't compliment them, and don't show them that you want them in this video. I'll explain this concept in more detail so you can understand how to show interest in a girl. I call this technique shameless interest. When I start talking to a girl I'm attracted to, one of the first things I ask is, are you single? There's a clear intention behind this question. I'm letting her know I'm interested. I don't hide it, and I love finding new ways to let women know I'm attracted to them. However, there's a way to do this without coming across as desperate when you show shameless interest. It's different from complimenting her. For example, you could say, "I like your hair," which shows interest. But if you say your hair is beautiful, that's just a generic compliment. She's heard 1,000 times before. Complimenting her outright is a mistake, because it puts you in the friend zone and makes you seem weak, as you weren't able to express your interest honestly. This is the key difference between being a friend and being a lover. A lover says, "I'm interested in you," while a friend says respect and boundaries. Fostering respect through Stoic principles. You're beautiful when talking to a girl. Don't compliment her directly. If something about her interests you, let her know. And if there's something you don't like, let her know that too. I've gone over this concept in previous videos. Now let's talk about the word you say. When you talk to girls, in reality, the actual words don't matter much. What attraction comes from the feelings your words generate. When you approach a girl and tell her you like her and want to talk, you communicate confidence, showing that you're not overly concerned with what she thinks attraction is. 80 to 90% non-verbal. What matters is how you say something, not necessarily what you say. Your tone of voice, body language, the way you look at her. This is the sub-communication that speaks directly to her subconscious. This is where emotional and sexual attraction are formed earlier in this series. I mentioned that women are naturally attracted to men who they believe other women want. Men with options behave differently from those who don't. Men with options assume attraction. They're used to women being interested. So when they meet a new one, they assume she's attracted to them too. They don't get flustered or take it personally if she's not. But men who don't have many options typically assume women aren't interested. Because that's been their experience. They cling to any sign of interest, believing they won't find anyone else. And here's the thing. The harder you try to make a girl like you, the less she'll actually be interested. That's because guys who try too hard are subconsciously signaling that they don't have many options. And actionable stoic tips. Practical advice to implement today. Women aren't attracted to men who lack options. I know I've repeated this point, but it's crucial. Women want men with options. These men assume attraction and don't overthink it. When you approach a girl, you should assume she's attracted to you. Look her in the eyes. Introduce yourself and tell her why you came over. If you have something attractive or interesting to say, go ahead and say it. But only if you truly feel it. That will come through in your subcommunication. If you're nervous or uncertain, don't overthink it. Just introduce yourself and explain why you came over. Make it your mission to learn about her and see if she's someone worth talking to. Anything beyond that is over-effort, which actually works against you. What you say the first time isn't crucial. It's how you present yourself and how you make her feel that matters. Now let me remind you of the story I shared at the beginning. That wasn't me talking to that girl. It was my friend. As for my experience, it ended before I even took action. I regretted missing the opportunity that night, but I learned a lot from it to wrap it up. The key to connecting with women and making lasting impressions is being authentic, confident, and not overthinking your approach. Stop trying to appear cool or perfect. Just be conclusion. Understanding another person's mind, especially in relationships, is not about manipulation, but about building trust and connection. A simple technique to connect with a woman's mind could involve active listening, showing genuine interest, and fostering open communication. Mutual respect and authenticity are key. By focusing on understanding rather than control, you can create a relationship dynamic that is enriching, respectful, and lasting for both individuals.